goes actually into the acquiring side of the Barclays business. So you really have two businesses in a bank here competing, because if you basically do the transaction in pounds, the issuing side of the business gets the full benefit, but the acquiring arm of the business doesn't get anything. And then if you do it in US dollars, then the acquiring arm wins and the issuing doesn't get anything. So it's two competitive products within a bank, and it all comes down to really cardholder choice. And are the banks really keen on offering DCC? I don't know. Today it's really more, if everyone else does it, then a bank like Barclays also has to do it, because DCC is very much targeted as business travelers who probably at the time that they check out of a hotel want to know what exactly their bill is so that they can do their expense reports or whatever. There is a lot of debate around DCC in general, because is it fair to the cardholder? Are the exchange rates fair? And so on and so on. But this is basically from a Barclays bank perspective in that example. This is a key thing, that you have two different groups in the bank who are there competing for part of that business.
Okay, and do you see that, do you see that kind of any change in that in terms of banks going kind of, hang on, that two parts of our business are competing here, it will be better if we don't offer it? Or is it that because this is now so widespread that you really have to offer this service, or the hotel is go to someone else as well?
Well, you see that one of the beneficiaries here is the hotel, right? Because in the example, when somebody pays in British pounds, they're not making anything.
Sure.
So they only have a cost. So at the end of the day, it's very much merchant driven, and then it becomes a commodity, and the banks just have to offer it, because if the Holiday Inn says, I want DCC, and Barclays says, well, we don't want to do it because we lose on the other side, then the hotel saying, well, then I go to whatever. I go to Citibank, or I go to somebody else, right, who offers it to me.
Okay.
And that's really, it's a merchant pressure.
Okay. Okay, that makes sense. And so just in terms of how it's run from the business side, say FinTrax they need to have the relationship with both the merchant and the bank, or is it kind of piggybacking on the bank's relationship, or how does that kind of set up in terms of?
That depends, and this is where the DCC providers are very different, right? I think FinTrax, for example, has always been one, and this is when we talk later about that merger with Planet Payment that's going to be very interesting. FinTrax has always been one that has been very much merchant-focused and basically had an agreement with the merchant and had an agreement with the bank. Then there are other DCC providers, like Planet Payment, for example. They were always bank-focused. They always played in the background, and they never really had any merchant relationship. So Planet always empowered a bank to do DCC and then worked in the background, while FinTrax and Global Blue, they're very much working on both sides. They're on the street working with hotels and merchants to offer DCC and train them, while at the same time they have agreements with banks as well. And so this is where the DCC provider then takes a conscious decision. What do I want to do in a certain market or with a certain bank? What is the right model? There are even models in Global Blue, for example, where they're working just in the background and the bank is doing all of the selling and is fronting that business. It really depends case by case, but I think the key thing here is that FinTrax, Global Blue, they have both models where they're just doing the bank or they're doing merchant and bank, while Planet Payment was always very much in the background just working to empower banks and not deal with merchants.
Okay. And then I guess that kind of skips quite nicely onto something that I was maybe going to come on to a bit later, but in terms of both, I guess, on both the VAT refunds and the DCC, what are the key reasons in your mind why the merchants will switch? And what does, say, FinTrax offer that Global Blue doesn't, or vice versa, that would cause a merchant to switch, and how much of that kind of comes down to pricing?
Are we talking VAT or DCC? Because
so I'd like to talk about both, but let's separate them. Let's do VAT
start
first.
with VAT. Mm-hmm. Why does anybody change between Global Blue and FinTrax? I think it's very much two reasons.